Hi everyone, welcome to another brand new episode of Women of Community Banking podcast. We've got Janelle with us today. Hi Janelle, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I mean, for everyone, I am in a vacation and hence I'm dressed this way. So apologize for this look, but yeah. So I thought of jumping onto a call, jumping onto this episode very quickly and talk with Janelle. Right again, Janelle, thank you for taking your time out to catch up with us. Right? I mean, she is really busy, by the way. Right? I mean, we've been talking to her for months. To
Thank you so
get
much
one
for the
single
invite.
slot in a calendar. Exactly, right? So finally we managed to get a slot in a calendar. And again, thank you, Janelle, for accommodating your calendar to talk to us and for this one quick show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick introduction: who is Janelle? Janelle is EVP of Commonwealth Credit Union. Again, congratulations, Janelle, on being promoted to an EVP. I think last November, right? So, what does
Yes.
Janelle do over there? Exactly. So, what does Janelle do over there? Janelle leads growth. Janelle leads lending, engagement, operations, contact center. So that's like a laundry list. So Janelle is responsible for almost half of the credit union is what I was telling her prior to our recording. So that's that's pretty much about Janelle, what she does at work. But she's got very interesting things that she does outside work, right? From one of the very interesting things is she is part of a group called Make a Wish. So that actually did strike a chord, right? Make a Wish is a very interesting organization. Uh, I would say aimed at fulfilling wishes of
Hmm.
critically ill children, right? And
Yes.
that's Janelle is fantastic, right? I mean, if you're able to do that for someone, I have huge respect. So that's something what Janelle does is amazing over there. I won't spend more time in introducing her because I can go like a broken record, but Janelle, add anything if I might have missed.
No, no, I think been at Commonwealth for the last beginning this October, it'll be 24 years. Been working with Make-A-Wish for the last probably 3 to 4 or 5 years now. Time flies, I
Yep.
think. And then outside of work, spend a lot of time with family and have 3 daughters, a brand new grandson. So pretty busy season of life for us.
I'm sure, absolutely. And since you have quite a broad role right now, plus managing your family, it's not easy, right? So my first question, Janelle, which I want to ask you is, what keeps you going?
I think just knowing that I get to make a difference in our team members' lives, our members' lives, and even, for my family. I think all of us look at our why we do what we do and just getting to make an impact with others and knowing that hopefully I have some small part of each person's impact each day to either in their career here or in a member experience or just being able to have a conversation with somebody that helps them feel like they are on the path that they desire to be on.
Absolutely, right? So that's what makes the entire difference, right? I completely cohere to that. So Janelle, what has been your story? You've been a lifer at Commonwealth, right? Almost for the last 25 years. So that's pretty long. You've seen the organization grow, transform the way how it operates today. So what has been your journey so far?
So I started here in September of 2001 as a loan assistant. So that was an entry level position for the organization taking phone calls to do loan applications. And then throughout the years, have worked in various roles of the organization. I worked up through the lending umbrella, did a position with credit card analyst where I focused on the credit card portfolio, learning, understanding, helping kind of grow that through collaboration with other departments in the organization, up through management and supervision and lending. Um, VP of Lending in 2019, and then Chief Lending in 2022, and then moved into the Chief Growth Officer later in 22, which combined our lending and operations branch areas, member engagement under one umbrella. And that was a very organizationally strategic move to kind of bring each of the areas together, break down silos, just become more collaborative. and then now into my current role. So it's been an incredible journey of learning and support. And it's a great organization. I can't rave enough about it. I think, to spend almost 24 years somewhere, there has to be someplace special, and this certainly is with someplace special.
Absolutely. I mean, you covered your entire journey so well. I mean, this is so relatable. Starting in the front line to moving up to becoming a C level at a $2.5 billion credit union, Janelle. This is not easy, right? So you've gone through multiple ups and downs, struggles, especially being a female leader, right? So that's firstly huge amount of respect, and that's the reason we have coined this podcast to share journeys of leaders like you, because I have got multiple feedbacks from aspiring leaders that they really look up to people like you to tell them that this is what I've done right and this is what I've done wrong, right? So don't do the things that I've done wrong. So this is really great, Janelle, for about you sharing your story with us, right? Now everyone asks you a basic question: what do you do? That we already covered that right now. But let me ask you a more subtle question, and which is more important for this podcast, right? That why do you do what you do right now?
Yeah. I do what I do because I love to help people. And I think if I look at all parts of my life, I'm a very servant-driven person. Like I'm very quick to say, "Can I help you with that?" or just take the initiative to take care of something. So from being able to help our members and know that I'm getting to serve them each day, getting to help our team members, um, those. I mean, that's what makes this job so fulfilling. And I think just being part of the organization, why it's just such a natural fit for me as a person, because that is just very naturally who I am. Um,
I hear you. So you have your why clear. So whenever I talk to someone, I ask them about why. Why do you do what you do? And I think we connect so well in that, because I also do my role out here at EXL because I love meeting people. I love helping people. I think helping people is something which is more important, apart from meeting people. So that really dovetails really well, right? So now I think I was hinting earlier on that your journey has definitely not been a very easy one, right? Because when you started back in 2001 versus now in 24 years, a lot of things have changed, progressed. So do you want to talk about a few challenges that you faced? Because this is a customary question I love asking everyone, because I personally feel that the more challenges you face in life, the more successful you become, because your resilience increases a lot, right? So definitely you
mhm.
might have also faced a bunch of challenges, and obviously you've overcome those challenges to become the general whom you are today, right? So do you want to talk about a few challenges, and how did you overcome challenges?
Yeah. I think if growing up in an organization and growing through various roles, each role has different expectations. And especially starting on the front line, I was a very technical person for very many years. I knew the technical side of how things worked. I was very in the weeds. And so one of the challenges that I faced in going into leadership was transitioning from being less focused on the details and the data and more focused on the people and the relationships. And that's a big transition that's required in order to, I think, be
So,
successful in leadership, and one that a lot of people who are really good at the job and the task struggle with, because that's what they're good at and they haven't maybe always been as strong. So for me, I had a leader at one point that sat down and said, you're really great at this, but in order to get to the next place, you're going to have to figure out how to be really good at this,
yeah.
which was the people side of things. So, that was something I was very intentional about working on and recognizing it wasn't a strength of mine. And I think it's a common one that people face if they worked at a place where they did grow up doing the task, or they've been in the role of the task for several years, and then that switch to leadership becomes much less task driven and much more people driven. um, I think, beyond that, like you said, I think resilience and adaptability are huge. You don't go through a lifetime at somewhere, or even through multiple places, without having some ups and downs. and just being adaptable and recognizing that this is just a moment in time and this is season 2 will pass, and the resilience to, push through and recognize that there are brighter days ahead, even though right now it feels like this is a really dim place, is really important because each of us go through seasons of ups and downs. You don't work a lifetime anywhere and not have good and bad days. And I think
Awesome.
that I guess the last one would just be trust the process. I've said this before when I've talked with others about similar questions. I think everything happens for a reason, and the timeline of which it happens is very it's what it's supposed to be. And if you believe that you should have something today, but you don't, just trust the process that there's a good reason for that, and it will come in time. And I think, being a very driven individual, that can be difficult because patience always isn't, something that you have a significant amount of. Myself especially, I'm not the most patient person, but to trust the process and recognize everything will happen when it's intended to, I think really helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us are similar because my patience level is this, right? It's exactly the same, but through multiple, I would say, failures in life. I should not call them failures, but hurdles, right? To multiple hurdles in life. What we talked about again, resilience. You're being true to yourself, being true to what you do, really helps you sail in any situations that is possible. Absolutely. Now, as I talked about earlier, that a lot of aspiring leaders do tune on to this channel, do tune on to LinkedIn, listen to experiences of leaders like you. So, do you want to have or share any advice for aspiring leaders who are looking, for the lack of better words, to become the next Janelle?
Yeah. I think it's important to build a strong network of support. I've been so fortunate that I've had people that I can go to that I can trust that give me very clear feedback and very honest feedback. And I mean, you have to have that because you have to recognize that each of us has opportunities to grow. So
Yep.
having, a very strong network out there of people that you can trust and that will support you in your growth.
Yep.
Um, you know, I think be willing to, push and take the initiative and don't wait to be asked always to do something. I think that people are looking for someone who's willing to push the limits to some degree. If you want to really lead at I think the next level, especially when you think about where the financial industry is going. I mean, where we're going with technology, things are changing every day. And if you're just
Yes.
going to do what's always been done, I think it will be hard to compete in the industry today. And then just like you said earlier, I think, believe in yourself and your abilities and trust that, you are where you are for a reason. And, while you may need to grow and you may need to evolve, there's a purpose behind your placement and to trust that.
I think these are real points which you hit like one by one. This is something really important. Angela, I think you'll be open to mentoring people, right? Because I mean, I have a lot of my guests tell me that a lot of people reaches out to you after I post my episodes for congratulating you or even asking for mentorship, right? Because that's where people struggle, of being mentor, of finding the right mentor. So I think you'll be open towards that, and
Yeah.
you can add Janelle app on LinkedIn, and please, don't bother her so much that she starts hating me, right? But obviously, she would love to come and mentor any one of you if you want any help, right? Specifically,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So Janelle, now moving on to the next section of the tour, right, where we talk about real things in credit unions that are happening, right? As you know that I mean I'm a data scientist, so I develop machine learning models, data models, for the lack of better words, for a living, right? And I'm doing this for some time, and I've always been fascinated by the way how people misinterpret AI, right? I mean, AI is sexy, AI is good, but we were doing AI or analytics 25 years back now, and suddenly due to democratization of AI, people talk about AI a lot. But as we spoke some time back, that you've been using AI in lending for almost the last almost 4 years, right? 4 to 1.5 years. Now, there are obviously upsides and downsides. Upsides is that your approval rates increase. You are able to say more yes to your members, to your community around you. You're helping communities grow. That's fantastic. The downside, which people talk about, is how efficient is it? I mean, it's very easy to go and approve a loan, yes, but is this helping you maintain your risk appetite at the same level? Is it helping maintain charge-offs or delinquencies at the same level or improve it? So, what has been your experience, Janelle, of using AI in lending for the last 4 years?
Right. So we've been live with AI underwriting technology since March of 2021. So we believe that, our portfolio by this point is very seasoned. And we've seen significant improvements in our underwriting and our overall performance of our loans using that technology. We have been taking on more risk strategically, buying deeper than we did when we were manually underwriting, which has helped increase our overall yield as well as just the overall productivity. Because we're able to deliver responses to members in 2.4 seconds for our loans, then and dealers, it helps us get loans quicker. It helps us be the financial institution that's selected from the dealer perspective, and it gives members an incredible experience. So we
Yeah.
are now using 4 models, 4 of the Zest AI underwriting models in our organization.
Interesting. So, I mean, we need forward thinking credit unions like you who are embracing the future. Without AI, it's very difficult to even survive, and for the lack of better words, right? Because it's not that you're competing with credit unions, you're competing against the neobanks of the world, the fintechs of the world, who give you
Sure.
loan application experiences, and I would say who will give you decisions within split seconds. That's
Mhm.
exactly what you need. So I think you're in the right direction, Janelle, while doing that, right? And since I'm a huge supporter of using data-driven decisioning across the life cycle, from onboarding till servicing across the entire life cycle, and since you lead a lot of, I would say, functions, we talked about lending experience, branch operations. So if I were to, seek your guidance in implementing ethical AI, because you've been using AI for lending for some time, what do you think are the top use cases of using ethical AI in credit unions going forward, maybe in the next 1 or 2 years?
Mhm. I think each credit union has to look at where they are and what works for them. I know for us, kind of we have some other use cases within the organization today. We use it in our knowledge-based software for queries from team members when they're trying to find answers to specific questions. So that is live for us today. Down the road, we're looking at the possibility of using AI in our chat responses, and then even farther down the road, I know there's a lot of technologies available with CRMs and the use of AI for the next best product, and to really drive that member product, comparing those together more effectively than what we've been able to in the past with other technology.
Right. So that's a very well-rounded answer. Obviously, in the interest of time, Chanel, I want to ask you a couple of more questions, right? One of the overarching question that I have for you is about this year, right? Obviously, I mean, I was looking at uh, the most recent NCUA results, right? Obviously, net interest margin is improving. I think things are going better, but again, membership growth is not that fast that we expected. We are still, at a very minimal pace that we are going. So I want to ask you two leg question. One is, how does 2025 look like for Commonwealth? That's one. And second, after you share your opinion, maybe I'll ask you another question, that how does 2025 look like for the entire credit union movement?
Right. So I think for Commonwealth, we feel very hopeful for 2025. We've had a lot of changes over the last several months. We just began operating as a Commonwealth Federal Credit Union on February 3rd of this year. So just the
Yeah.
opportunity to expand those that we serve and expand beyond the 24 counties that we had previously on under our state charter. So we feel really hopeful in growth opportunities, both for memberships and lending this year with that expanded field of membership. As far as credit union industry, just kind of going into that question, I think there's a lot to that. We have to see how it plays out over the next few months. There's just so many unknowns that I think that we're facing from how will, the economy handle and how our individuals handle the tariffs and the cuts that are being made. And, how does the trickle down effect of these things impact our members to know how charge-offs are going to be impacted, the lid's going to be impacted in our individual members' lives. So I mean, I think that we are hopeful from our growth standpoint, but as far as an industry, there's just a lot happening that we're going to have to just
Yeah.
give it a little bit and pause and see. We saw the predictions early on of share growth and loan growth, and they were kind of, I think, middle of the road, 5, 6, 7%, nothing outlandish, but not extremely conservative. I think
Yeah.
everybody's still kind of holding their breath on that to see where it lands. Rates stopped moving as quick as we had thought they would. Um, and, I think there's just still a lot of unknowns. Delinquency is, I think,
Sure.
across the industry picking up a little bit here and there, especially in the unsecured products. And, there's even someone said this morning, with the tariffs, the car purchases, what's that going to look like for this month and for future months?